Welcome to Gwynn and Chris Overtime. Sorry that we were off Monday. Hope everybody had a good Martin Luther King Day. But we're back with a Thursday edition of Overtime. And today we're going to focus on something I think that all of us need to be successful in the world. So you've come to the right place. If you're looking for, a little boost in your life, in your career, making more money.
Oh, I need that.
Here we are.
We all could use that.
We're here for you, yeah. And I don't know. I was thinking of this for some reason today, and it came upon me that a very underrated aspect of being successful in any walk of life, and I think we'll kind of relate it to sports, but I think is the ability to judge people and to be able to. You meet everybody, and everybody seems like a good person probably when you first meet them, and everybody says the right things, and they're going to work hard, and they're going to be on time, and they're going to put extra work in. But the ability to read between the lines, I guess, and find the people that are really going to go beyond, as opposed to those that are just going to, kind of half-ass it.
I'm excellent
and
at
do
this.
the minimum. Okay, you're excellent at this,
I'm
apparently.
excellent.
Well, then we've come to the right place to bring
I've done
you
some
in.
hiring before, and all of my hires have been A's.
All your hires. So you've
under
become...
what grade system?
Mine.
Yes, his own.
No, did they do the job that we hired them to do? Yes, you get an
That's
A.
a C.
No, it's an A.
No, I mean that's just.
I agree with Tony.
That's just to
Doing
go
what
out
you-
just to do the job
I didn't
that you're
say that
asked
they
to do.
didn't go more. I'm saying at least in this day and age, the level is below doing your job. Like, people just don't like working anymore.
But what I'm talking about is trying to find really successful people and putting that together for a successful organization. And I believe to do that, you do need to find. I know I almost dropped my drink, and I made a great save there.
By the way, I know
It would have been all over, and it would have been the end of it. Adam would have come in here. JR would have
This
been in.
dude would have jumped
He
out
would
of
have
the
lost
seat.
his mind. What's the guy, Mike?
Prosser.
Prosser would have had to been here for 6 hours again cleaning up.
Gravy would have hopped
been
out of the
really
seat.
bad.
Brandon told Klug for sure.
Thank
I have
goodness
a
I caught
question
that.
about that. Did you
Great
leave this in
hands.
the refrigerator last night? Your Diet Coke?
Yeah, but I pour it out this morning and I start over fresh
Oh, you have
today.
a new Diet Coke.
I have a new Diet Coke
Okay.
in this cup.
in the same cup.
It's the same cup. I just keep
Okay.
it in here overnight.
I was gonna say, if you're drinking 24-hour Diet
No, I'm
Coke,
not.
that's savage.
that would be no, and because I feel if I leave the cup out on a counter, it would get tossed. But if I put it in the fridge, it'll probably stay overnight, and then
I
the next
see-
day I can use it again.
I see your logic.
Thank you.
All right, back to it.
All right, so
Okay.
again, we're back to trying to find successful people, and people are going to go beyond. Because I learned a long time ago, I think all of us did, or maybe we were taught this, whether we learned it, I don't know. But when you walk into your instructor, let's say in high school, and you say, I did everything you asked me to do, and the instructor says, yes, well, that's a C. And you say, what are you talking about? I should get an A. And the instructor said, no, C is average.
Right.
That's what C stands for, average, doing what you're supposed to do. You want to get a B, you got to be good. You want to be an A, that's excellent.
Yep.
So we all start at C work, right? When we walk in the door. To me, we're all average. Now, which direction are we going to go?
Depends on the day.
Well, okay, I get that, but I'm talking about
I know,
in life.
yes, I know.
So I've thought of this today because I was thinking about all of the National Football League hires and the people that get jobs. And I don't think that the NFL is any different than any other walk of life, right? I think we put these guys maybe on a bit of a pedestal, say they're in the NFL, so they must be really good at this. But how good are they? I mean, how often do NFL owners hire general managers that turn out to be Joe Shane? How often do general managers hire coaches that just can't get the most and the best out of their people? How often do coaches hire coordinators? They all have the qualifications. I believe that Matt Eberflus probably knows as much or more about defense than just about anybody alive. He's been coaching defense for 25 years or whatever. So what is it about Matt Eberflus that doesn't allow him to get the message across? And can you find a way to figure that out when you hire him or before you hire him so that you don't have to fire him a year later because he couldn't get the job done. It's a tough conundrum, but it's right. To me, the good people are the ones that are surrounded by other good people.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that we're depending on, especially as it pertains to these organizations, what we define as success, right? I mean, obviously the ultimate goal is to win Super Bowls, but is that the true definition of a good organization, right? I mean, that's how we classify it, but, having an opportunity to be in those type of conversations is equally as important. And then you just have so many, it's so complex because you got so many other ingredients that go in besides just getting the right coach. Because it can be, as you said, Matt Eberflus knows as much about defense as anybody.
I'm sure he does.
But how is it that, and even when he is able to connect, that won't be the only thing that's going to dictate if they win a lot of games.
Still got to have the talent.
You got to have the talent. And then back to those owners who are making decisions. I mean, I'm not sure all of them grew up in a football household, so maybe they don't know what it is they're looking for in some cases, or they have to learn on the fly.
They spent their life hiring CEOs and CFOs.
And sometimes that works as a football coach.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so, listen, there are guys who are X and O's guys, like a Sean McVay that can draw up a new play and kind of manipulate whatever it is you're doing on defense. And then you got guys who are the CEOs of their teams, right?
John Harbaugh would be a guy like that, right?
Great example, right? And so it's
John Harbaugh may not be able to draw a play in the dirt, but he certainly can manage a football team.
And this is where you start to find out how good coaches, or I should say, this is where you start to kind of feel like you have a good idea what good coaches look like.
Right.
John Harbaugh is going from what we all consider a top-tier organization.
Now let's see.
And so now, is it? And here it is. Is he being graded on the same scale? I mean, he's going to an organization, by all accounts, that hasn't been really competitive in quite some time.
Right.
And they've had a lot of dysfunction.
Under this particular GM especially.
Under this particular GM.
Yeah.
He already has taken over a team in which he doesn't even have to report to this particular GM.
He was smart enough to see that.
And so are we grading him on the same system? Like if he turns this around and now all of a sudden, maybe they're not a perennial winning the NFC East, but they're in the hunt every year. Does that change things? Because he's going now to a different organization.
I don't know. But
and that's
certain
what I'm saying.
coaches,
all of these factors are things you had to consider.
It certainly seems, you can go to baseball or you can go to basketball, NBA. There's certain coaches that no matter where they go, you just know that the team, the organization is going to be more successful.
Yeah, for sure.
And they almost always are. But here's a question. I'll ask you, Scraby, to get you involved here since you are the expert, you said, on this.
I was just taking in.
Is the guy?
Point. Yeah.
I think his last name is Dolan, and I believe there's other people that were
Steve
involved.
Dolan?
No, it's not Steve Dolan. But hi to Steve Dolan if you're out there, Steve.
Oh, I don't want to say hi to him.
Nick Dolan?
Yeah.
The group of people, whoever it was, that landed on Curt Cignetti at Indiana, did they see something, or did they get lucky? Did
a little
they
bit
hire?
both.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
what's the answer? Because clearly now, Curt Cignetti was the correct choice to do something that heretofore nobody ever thought possible.
I think his resume.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No.
So-
Well, I think his resume spoke for himself. And his background coaching for Nick Saban. So I think that they hired him with the idea that he was going to be a good coach, but then they got lucky that he was a great coach.
I also think this is a part of the whole process too. I feel like in college, they have a lot more time to investigate and background and
Unless your name's Sharon Moore.
it just well, yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Yes.
I mean, man,
I bet he's happy to be
risked-
back in the news again today.
I
so
know. I
he can
saw that
read.
pop up.
He risked it
Yeah.
all.
He really did.
That's the other thing, is the time frame in which these things happen.
Right.
In the especially in the NFL these days, especially in a year like this where there are a ton of openings, the clock is ticking. And I think teams who are not going after top-tier guys like John Harbaugh are more likely to make a mistake with this kind of time frame than they are to get it right. Whereas when there's a couple job openings and you got kind of the pick of the litter, maybe you are able to make a deep decision on a guy that you never heard of. Kevin Stefanski is another one, right? I mean, apparently some people view his time in Cleveland as top tier.
Yeah.
And a lot of people agree that it wasn't. And so I don't even know how you're going to grade Atlanta. I guess if they're successful, maybe they had something right.
I think guys like Jerry Jones, they believe that they're the smartest person in the room.
Ego's another piece of this.
Ego is a massive part of this, especially in the NFL.
So, and you maybe in Jerry Jones' case, he doesn't want to hire people who he perceives are as smart as him.
I mean, he's fired some of the greats.
He wants to stay as the smartest guy in the room.
Well, but he's never been this. Well, I shouldn't say he's never been. He is a smart guy,
I
but
would
there
think
are
so.
smarter guys in the room sometimes when he's there.
I think when it comes to football, there are always smarter guys.
I mean, the
in
thing
room
with
than
Kurt
Jerry.
Cignetti, he came from the Division II ranks, Division III ranks. There's a lot of coaches that come up from the Division II and III ranks, and they finally get their chance, and you never hear of them again. And I'm not saying that these are not good leaders; it just doesn't work. But there was something about Kurt Cignetti. I don't know if they were able to capture it or if they just got lucky.
I don't think there's an arrogance to him. I think there's a confidence to him.
Sure there is, but aren't most people who do an interview confident in what they're going to be able to do? It'd be hard to, sell yourself if you're not confident in yourself in that interview process. There's no way to know if, like, for, say, the Miami new coach, right, Jeff? At least I got his first name now.
I
still don't have a second name.
Yeah.
But we have no idea. Right? We have no idea if he's going to be
Delfrey,
Halfley or half something.
Draft. Okay, I'm gonna look this up
We
for
don't
once
have any
and for
idea
all.
whether he's going to be successful or not. What we do know is that he was able to sell the organization on his Halfley. We do know that he was able to probably sell the Dolphin organization on his ability to be an X's and O's guy and understand defense and understand coaching and understand that. But whether that's going to translate to him being one of these guys or one of these guys, nobody's going to know, at least for a couple years. Wow. And I've always felt like the one of the toughest ones, like, okay, here's a real successful person, Robert Kraft. One thing that Robert Kraft did, in my mind, to be as successful as he is now in football, he, I think, was the only person that saw something in Bill Belichick that I don't think anyone else saw. Bill Belichick was a defensive coordinator for the Giants under Bill Parcells, so he had a very good,
big tuna.
Right, and he was in a great spot. He was the defensive coordinator of a Super Bowl team. He went to Cleveland, his first head coaching job. He had one winning season. The rest of the time, he stunk, and they fired him. And he was out for a couple of years. The Jets decided we're going to take a shot on Belichick. So they saw something in him. And if you remember this, they hired him.
I do remember this.
The day they hired him, Robert Kraft came in and stole him.
Yep.
And offered draft picks and offered money and all of this stuff to the Jets. And the Jets said, "Oh, thank you very much. We don't even have anything. And you're giving us all this." But it was the greatest move, right, Robert Kraft ever made. He surrounded himself with somebody great. How did he know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think
guys
Robert
like,
Kraft, he probably has a sixth sense because
well, listen, I don't think it's. Didn't Bill Parcells go through that organization at one point?
the Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was with them.
I think before Belichick, yes.
There's no doubt in my mind that Bill Belichick, coming from the Bill Parcells tree, when you're that high level executive of a Robert Kraft, an owner, like, you hear things all the time, and he was a
sponge.
He was a lot younger too at that point. I know we hear Robert Kraft now, we think of him as an older gentleman, but he was a lot younger then and still making a ton of money. And so, like, not that the money part has anything to do with it, but he was sharp. And so I have no doubt that whatever he got probably came from Bill Parcells, that kind of gave him this inkling, but he still had to be willing to take the risk. And boy, oh boy, did it turn out to be, because he didn't just hire him as a head coach. he pretty much handed the reins,
keys to him,
and said, "Take us."
And lo and behold,
Man.
they took him. You can go all the way back to Bill Walsh. The 49ers hired him. Nobody knew who he was. I think he had been at Stanford for a couple of years.
Yeah.
The tree for Bill Walsh was that he was actually an assistant to Paul Brown back in the way back when Paul Brown was kind of the king of football with the Browns. So Walsh had that connection. And then, you had the likes of Shula and Landry and these, giants of the game. But not everybody who worked for those guys became great on their own.
Right.
So you still have to figure it out. Somebody came up with Walsh. All of a sudden, second year, Bill Walsh was the smartest guy in football. So did the 49ers get lucky? Or did they see something in Walsh? We don't know.
Yeah.
But it's part of
The
this whole
answer's always a little bit
discussion.
of both.
Here's the other part of it that I think you got to take into consideration. There's a pattern with the 49ers, in this particular case, hiring those type of coaches and then turning around and having success, which is why their organization has been so good.
What
And
happened when Dennis Erickson was hired?
That doesn't mean that doesn't mean that
Chip
they,
Kelly.
that doesn't mean that they don't miss from time to time,
Right.
and ownership changes
Mike
and all those type of
Singletary.
deals. How about
Mike Nolan.
You can make
All right.
you can make an argument that Mike Singletary at least started to change the
He changed
mindset,
Vernon Davis's life
mindset around that team
a little bit, yeah. He got him back on track.
you-
But I
can-
agree with you, Scraby. I thought Singletary was going to be a Hall of Fame coach.
Me too.
And it
he
just
wasn't
didn't really
that
work.
way.
You got an organization like Baltimore. They have hired pretty much been spot on. Steelers have only hired 2 coaches, and
Right.
so there is a pattern of the good organizations
Yeah.
and the ownerships being consistent that they get it right more often
What
than
you're
not.
getting to is what I want to finally finish with, because we could go on for a while here. It all does start at the top.
Yep.
The ownership. And and you don't have to be good at running a football team to become an owner. So, like in my mind, as a Dolphin fan, we got unlucky because Stephen Ross is our guy. And I was looking out today. Brian Flores, and I wish I could think of it right off the top, and 2 other guys are both up for assistant coach of the year. I think one of them is, anyway. 3 guys that are up for assistant coach of the year in the NFL this year
That were on
the Dolphins staff. But it didn't work in Miami. But these are now smart guys because they're elsewhere.
Right.
The Patriot fans don't know how lucky they got, but they got Robert Kraft, who seems to make the right call. And Scraby withstanding, brought in Mike Vrabel this time, and he went from 4 to 14 wins.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different because you can obviously move to a spot. But let's say you're born it's almost like your parents. Like you don't get to pick them.
That's right.
You don't get to pick them.
Yeah, and the Padre fans can feel some of this.
For sure.
We went through years and years of very questionable ownership until finally John Morris put us on some level footing, and Peter Seidler was able to take us to another level.
Yeah.
But none of this could have happened without the good ownership at the top. And then we get to one last one, because you mentioned Harbaugh. How about Jim Harbaugh? We talked about this when he was hired. What's going to win? Jim Harbaugh or being under Dean Spanos? And I think it's still up in the air, is it not? Harbaugh
He's fighting it off pretty good.
He's
I might
fighting,
say.
but he hasn't been able to break through yet. And
true.
I know that they don't have a power struggle outwardly every day. But to me, the Spanos fog hangs over the Chargers, and Jim Harbaugh is still trying to puncture through it.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I can't argue against
I'll just say
facts.
I'll just say that the good organizations consistently do those things. Doesn't mean it doesn't mean they get it right every single time.
Everybody misses.
Right, but the really good organizations, the ones that we hate because they're so good, and then the ones that we respect because they're so good, they have
something.
They do something.
The
pretty
Chiefs
consistent.
have terrible ownership according to their own players. Because
they
in
get the
terms of the
lowest rating on that.
facilities and taking care of their
But
bodies
being able
and
to
things
judge,
like that.
being able to judge
Well, that's not-
leadership.
What's his name? Is it Hunt?
Yeah, he picked out Andy
leadership.
Reid. He's picked out general managers. He's picked out Scott Pioli's and people that have helped make the Chiefs great. There's other organizations that hire Chip Kelly even after everything that he's already failed at.
Yeah, 49ers.
Why do they do that? Like, those are the things that I don't get.
People are still hiring Bobby Petrino.
You keep bringing up Bobby Petrino.
I don't know why he's been on the show so much lately.
Just ripping
the
him.
second time you brought him up out of the blue.
It's like, did you forget? Like, never mind. Let's not get into the second chance conversation again.
Well, let's finish up with this. When Tony and I got together for the show, we did not get a chance to interview our producer.
No, we didn't.
We didn't get to go out and hand pick somebody.
Nah. It's like our parents.
We were just like our. We had to. It was where we grew up, and we were given Matt Scraby. And I want to say, we lucked out on that one, Tony.
Good.
We
good.
did.
Lucked out on that
Good
one.
job on saving it, because I will never forget the first day when I put down the rundown in front of Chris. He goes, I don't need this.
And I still and here we are 8 years later. Still don't need your stupid rundown.
And I do remember I put Tiger Woods because he was in the news that day. You're like, we don't talk golf on this show.
I didn't say that.
At the time, you did.
That's silly.
This Crave's over here putting extras on it right now.
And he's like, I don't like your rundown. No, he didn't say that.
I still
part.
don't like it.
That's true.